Has working, in your opinion, made you a better mother or a better wife?
Well, I was working in my career pretty much when I started ovulating. So the two seemed to happen at the same time for me anyway. I started working professionally when I was 13 years old, singing. And I didn't have my first child until I was 36. So by that time, my career was in full flux, and I was already on many national television shows. I was my career was very, very well established then. So I'm personally grateful I had my children a little later in life, when so much of the building of a career takes place. It takes a lot of your attention and your time. And I'm glad that I already had a firm foundation of my career before my children came, so that I could just keep standing on it while I was, cradling my kids. I was very blessed in that I came back to work after 5 weeks with both of my children. But I worked in an environment where I could bring my children with me. And I don't know that I would have continued working, actually, if I hadn't been able to bring my kids with me. That's the other side of waiting so long for something. Even though I was an established performer and had a really thriving career, I knew from growing up in the kind of family that I grew up that there was nothing more priceless and more precious than the gift of children. And so that wasn't something that was negotiable. If I hadn't been able to bring my children back with me, then I would have said, then sayonara, thank you so much, it's been great, but they need me more than you do. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make when they're working. They make their career their life, instead of letting their career be what they do for a living and then going home to your real life, which has for me always been my family. And even though my son's in college now, my daughter's in high school, it's still the same way. My career is my career. It's the way I make my living, and I'm grateful for it, deeply grateful that I've been able to make a living doing what I love to do. But nothing in my life has ever satisfied me on more emotional levels than being just a mom.
Kathie, how do you balance it all?
Well, some days you balance it better than others. I have been very blessed from day one to have an amazing assistant who was originally my children's nanny. She's now my daughter's godmother, and she's my best friend in the whole world. So for the last 20 years, I look at my life the last 20 years, and there's not a frame of a picture that we've ever taken that didn't have Christine Gardner in it with me. So I've been very blessed to have Christine. My son talks to her more than he talks to me. As I said, my daughter emails and IMs Christine all day long, and the rest of the time Christine is now nanny to me and my husband. So, but for people who can't afford that, because I also realize what a great blessing that's been, sometimes it's your sister that is that to you, or it's your mom or a dear friend that you can leave your kids with. And it's just about having a networking situation with people you trust that would take a bullet for your kid if it came down to that, that are as devoted to them as you are. And that's extraordinary blessing wherever you do find it. So along with the choice to go back to work was, of course, knowing that when I wasn't with my children, someone was with them that loved them pretty much every bit as much as I do, and shared the same values with me. I think it's when you hand off your children to different people, you better be pretty consistent in the way you all approach manners, diet, naps, and everything along the way, because as your children grow, their needs change. And so I've just been very, very blessed that way.